For a decade, my life ran on routine. Wake up early. Make weak coffee. Sit alone at the kitchen table in the house my husband and I once filled with noise. After Henry died, silence became my roommate. Henry had always handled the money. I trusted him. When he passed suddenly, I didn't even know how many accounts we had. I was grieving, disoriented, and scared of doing something wrong. That's when his cousin Laura stepped in. She arrived just days after the funeral, dressed in black. Soft voice. Red eyes. She told me Henry had taken out a large loan before his death. Something about keeping the house afloat. She said the bank was patient for now but not forever. She showed me documents. Stamped. Formal. I didn't understand them, but they looked real enough through my tears. If the bank doesn't get paid, she warned gently, they'll come for the house. Then she offered a solution. Send her $500 a month. She claimed she had contacts at the bank and would handle everything. All I had to do was trust her. So I did. Every month I sent the money. I cut back everywhere. No vacations. No hobbies. I skipped dental work. I told my grandchildren I couldn't help with college right now. Laura always replied with encouragement. You're doing the right thing. Henry would be proud. We're almost halfway there. 10 years. 120 payments. $60,000. I never questioned it. Why would I? She was family. She cried at the funeral. She held my hand when I could barely breathe. Then one Tuesday morning everything collapsed. The phone rang while I was making coffee. I almost ignored it. Unknown number. This is Angela Morris from Valley National Bank, the woman said. I'm calling regarding your late husband's account. My stomach dropped. I assumed something had gone wrong. A missed payment. A delay. Instead, she said words that shattered my reality. Ma'am, your husband never owed this bank any money. His accounts were settled. There has never been any outstanding debt. I felt the room tilt. If there was no debt, where had my money been going? And why had Laura needed it so badly? I didn't confront her that day. Instead, I did something far more dangerous. I started looking for proof. After the call ended, I sat at the table for a long time, staring at nothing. $60,000 echoed in my head like a drum. That afternoon, I opened the drawer where I kept important things. Inside were neatly stacked receipts, every transfer I had ever sent. I'd saved them because I was afraid of forgetting something. Turns out that habit saved me. I laid them out across the dining table, year by year, month by month, a decade of quiet obedience. Then I printed every message Laura had ever sent me. Payment received, red heart. Don't worry, I've got this handled. Almost there. My hands shook but my mind sharpened. I checked my email next. Buried deep was a message from the bank dated 10 years earlier. An estate settlement notice. Clear language. Simple words. All accounts closed. No debt owed. I had read it back then. But grief makes you doubt yourself. Laura had counted on that. That night, she texted me as if nothing had changed. Just checking. Did this month's payment go through? The nerve of it made my stomach turn. I lied back. Western Union had an issue. I'll send it tomorrow. She responded instantly. No worries at all, smiling face with smiling eyes. That's when I knew. She was watching. Waiting. I called my son Mark. Calm. Logical. The one who doesn't panic. If someone takes money from you by lying, I asked, what is that? That's fraud, he said immediately. Serious fraud. By Friday he drove 5 hours to be with me. We went to the bank together. In person. No room for doubt. The manager confirmed everything. No loan. No debt. No confusion. Then we spoke to an attorney who specialized in elder financial abuse. This is textbook exploitation, she said. And you have evidence most victims don't. But the real shock came next. She discovered Laura had purchased a vacation condo 3 years into my payments. While I skipped meals. While I postponed medical care. That money wasn't survival. It was lifestyle. And Laura wasn't desperate. She was deliberate. Rehook. That's when Laura realized I was investigating. And she made the first move. Word spread faster than I expected. Before I could even decide my next step, my daughter-in-law called me, confused. Laura had reached out to her. claiming she was worried about my memory and that I was mixing things up. Classic misdirection. That same evening, Laura called me directly. Her voice was sweet. Too sweet. "Are you feeling okay?" she asked. Grief can make things confusing. I stayed calm. "The bank says Henry never had debt." Silence. Then irritation crept in. "Banks make mistakes. They showed me records." Her tone hardened. "You should be careful making accusations." That's when my son took the phone. "We've filed a police report," he said flatly. The sweetness vanished. "You're making a huge mistake." By the next morning, family members were calling me, not to support me, but to check if I was okay. Laura was poisoning the well. 2 days later, she showed up at my house. Uninvited. Perfect outfit. Perfect hair. Perfect performance. She begged me to keep this in the family. Said lawyers would destroy everyone. When I refused, the truth spilled out in anger. "I needed the money," she snapped. "You wouldn't have missed it." That moment, caught on my door camera, became her downfall. Because what she said next sealed her fate forever. Laura shouted. She cried. Then she slipped. "I used some of it," she admitted. "I was drowning. Not borrowed. Not temporary. Used." The camera caught every word. My lawyer nearly laughed when she heard it. "That's a confession," she said. "An unfiltered one." The police subpoenaed Laura's bank records. The pattern was undeniable. My transfers. Her spending. Vacations. Luxury stores. The condo. She tried to settle. First $10,000. Then $25,000. I refused. I didn't want silence. I wanted accountability. And then came the courtroom, where Laura had to tell her story under oath. The judge listened patiently as evidence stacked up. Receipts. Messages. Bank testimony. Then the video played. Laura's own voice echoed through the courtroom. Her lawyer objected. Too late. When Laura testified, she contradicted herself again and again. Finally, the judge spoke. This was calculated exploitation. Full restitution. Punitive damages. Legal fees. And the case was referred for criminal prosecution. Laura collapsed in her chair. I didn't feel joy. I felt peace. But justice wasn't finished with her yet. Not even close. Assets were seized. The condo sold. Wages garnished. Her marriage collapsed. Her reputation followed. 3 months later, she pled guilty. 5 years in prison. I watched silently as the sentence was read. Apologies came too late. I used the money differently than she expected. I paid off my granddaughter's loans. Donated to elder fraud prevention. Took my children on the trip my husband and I never had. And that's when I realized, this story wasn't really about money. I speak now because this happens every day. Not from strangers but from family. People who know your grief. Your trust. Your weakness. If this story feels familiar, listen carefully. Document everything. Question urgency. Never let shame silence you. I was quiet for 10 years. I won because I finally spoke. If someone you trust asks for secrecy and money, ask yourself this. The next story is even more shocking. Subscribe so you don't miss it.